what does it mean to be an architect? It means so many things. Rather than it being fewer things, it's more things.
We see it as an expanding profession, and we don't see the role of architects diminishing, we see it becoming greater.
The best thing about architecture, I think, is that you feel really engaged in global conversations, like big things that people are interested in around the world, and you feel like you can actually make some sort of active contribution to that, even if it's on a small scale in individual projects.
Working regionally, every single person knows what you're doing. You can be walking down the street and people stop you and talk about the work that you're doing. And that adds a level of accountability to the work that we do. It means you're always striving to do something a little bit better.
The business started out as a bit of an accident. I have always enjoyed working with others. That's a major reason why I have the co-working office, is that you're no good on your own, you learn from others.
I've always been drawn to making things, and the University of Tasmania definitely advocates for that. It's nice to finish a really busy day at work and just come home, get into the garage and start shaping or sanding a piece of wood. It's a bit about reflection, I guess.
There are many, many ways to be an architect and contribute to the built environment. But for us, we both really wanted to develop a practice model that meant that we could be part of a conversation which was for the benefit of many rather than the benefit of a few.
Emma and I speak quite a lot about the values that we live our practice by, and one of those is to be stealthy. And I think that the realisation that being an architect you can be an influencer within the realm of the city is an incredibly important role. And so we like to think about the role that Coda can play to influence the built environment, not necessarily build it.
There is a genuine desire to continually evolve and not to be just about being a business. For me, being in a large practice means that you can be enabled. So you can actually bring in kind of really interesting people from all over the place who can be better than you are, basically, to add to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve.
I know where I want to be in that I want to work on the more public works. I'm also much more interested in doing urban architecture and sort of city making. I just get more joy from that. I like participating with the community.
After finishing architecture school, I was quite lost in many ways. I was at uni from 8:30 to midnight every day. So I had nothing else in my life but that. Then after it finished, there was just a massive gap. What do you do with all this free time? So currently I work for an engineering company, as well as I tutor at uni for 2 days a week, first years and fourth years. I feel like I owe it to the next generation somehow, in my own little way as a tutor, to try to help students and make sure they survive the tough degree.
Being rural, you find that you're doing projects that potentially you haven't done before. We're not specialists in one particular area of architecture. You're actually, at the end of the day, a problem solver, and it's that element of problem solving that allows you to actually practice.
I'm very conscious that I will learn the rest of my life. I think that's part of the reason why I got into it. It's just a profession where you're constantly uncovering things that you don't know.
Curiosity is absolutely fundamental to being an architect. You have to be curious about your clients, about sites, about the possibilities within any project, your ability to make a difference or to add value. But I think in a way that has relevance that's not just about architecture.
There is definitely a commitment from local architects in regional areas to sort of bleed for their projects. So it's a nice feeling to be able to drive around and actually see the fruits of your labour and to see a little bit of difference that you're making.
The thing about being an architect is that the number one ingredient is optimism. It's about always looking to find the solution. There's always a solution.